You are in a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. By the way, I already told you I'm not taking you to some spaces that the other ghost tours go to, because sometimes there might be anything there for them to show other people. This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. Now, communication devices, this is where I start withholding information. I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the Big Red Barn. So you did hear two phrases already. So you did it's almost Christmas and it's all about what you do or something along those lines.
Get ready or something.
So again, you're starting to hear phrases, which is good.
Why unmute mine now?
Not yet. I'm going to go through the history and then you're going to unmute. Yeah, for sure. I know. Yours is a lot of like, here's the reason why is because my ear is trained to listen to that. So if you're running it right now, I'm not going to know where we're at in the history and like what you guys need to know. So
that's fair. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't
trust me.
required to turn it on
Mike,
now.
come on, get on the ball.
Yeah, right? That's what I was worried about.
So we're going to Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's three different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's exactly why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know in the event that you hear Charles, which one it is. So I'm hoping the other verifier is going to be coming from you, Mike. So that's kind of how this works. Now, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. We're going to move on. If I don't give them that recognition, they will normally do it for me in a very negative manner. You might want to lower your camera with people walking by. There you go. You can keep it recording, just lower it. You got it. Look at you. You're a pro. You get a job later. You good? All right. No. So if I don't give them the recognition, they do it for me very nastily on another spirit box, just so you know. So I just give them the recognition every night, and we move on. We talk about Eliza instead. Oh, perfect. The only car is leaving. We're going to have the whole space to ourselves. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect these like numbers from colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14 when girls got married. Can't even call them women yet. They're still girls to me. So think of today's standards because the husband is over double her age. So it's a creepy age gap then, it's a creepy age gap now. So just putting that set of thought in the back of your brain. Anyway, she marries him because her father is over in England, where she's from, or at least where her family's from. And the father thinks he's dying. So he's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Eliza doesn't believe he's dying, so she stays put right here, gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story, believe it or not. So this is nothing to be worried about, Margaret. This lady's a pretty happy story. So anyway, she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere, I promise you. That is a plant that makes blue dye. It makes our blue jeans blue. That's what your jacket's made out of. You're wearing it right now. However, when Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not hot here all the time. When she learned how to do that, she had to learn how to make the dye, then moved to cash crop down by the Stono River, got a hold of Dad and told him rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Do you have something going on over there?
Maybe on that left side.
Yeah. Over here.
I'm trying to think of what you actually have in there.
Right now, but see that light pole showing on the left?
Yeah. There was a lot.
The strongest one.
He's hearing things. I like it. So this is probably your dumpster right here, just so you know. It's picking up the different contours of the dumpster, but he's saying there's stuff over here?
Yeah, there was stuff there.
Okay. What's nice is once we actually separate a little bit, you'll be able to get closer to it and see what it actually is. So, yeah, we're going to...
there she is.
Like, did we lose somebody already?
Yeah, right. He took
It just showed up. There it goes. See it?
This air just moved over there.
You are picking up. So, do you see how the gate is set up? It has two posts, and then we have the wrought iron gate off to the left of it. That's how wide your vision is on the camera. So it looks like it's picking up. Oh, no. It's actually further left than that. Yeah, you're going to have to get closer to that area once we separate. But you're definitely recording. She's like, damn it, I don't want to. So because it is kind of a jumbled mess, I'm going to guess it's a lot of the contouring that's over there between the wrought iron gate that's on the side, the wall. You also have a tree over there.
Yeah.
Anything with leaves in it, by the way, is not your friend. All leaves are in front of another leaf, so it's going to always look like a gobbledygook of things. So it's always going to pick up these little points. But not that I'm not excited about that, but I don't see a person out of this mess at all. Definitely not
Okay.
3 points, arms, legs, torso, that kind of mess. So, yeah, I would say you're going to have to get closer up there to make sure.
Okay.
So he heard the strongest one, and then close to Christmas when we were walking over here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to kind of give you guys a set of focus questions to kind of work with over here. So this is a place of respect, by the way. So when you're asking questions, try not to poke the bear with anything that might be a little too far into things. So I'll explain more about that as we kind of move throughout the space. So with yours, I'm going to start with yours, Mike. So can you see a mansion? I can't see one. It's not there, right? So you're going to ask Eliza what happened to it. Obviously, it was some kind of tragedy, so I'll kind of give you that clue. If you get the what, we will often get the when. That's like 3 numbers of the specific date of when that occurred. So I'm also going to give you the marriage questions. Your device likes to give us like 1 to 2 syllable answers, so that's why I'm giving you kind of like these short abrasion pieces. As far as ages at time of marriage, that could be Eliza's age, Charles's age, or the time of marriage, so how long they were actually married. We do get a lot of those type of answers out of your type of spirit box. Also keep in mind, whoever's asking questions, that's why you're going to tell me all of the silly little things that you're hearing, because these answers can go anywhere. We're running a camera, which has audio, so it can go there. It can go to my voice recording, or it can go to either spirit box. So Mike, you might be asking questions. Austin might get the answers. So that's why I tell you, like, tell me whatever you're hearing. You're going to focus on her death. So yeah, 4 major things that we commonly get the answers to from her: how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So notice that all of your questions are not yes/no questions. So they're all very open-ended and very specific answers. So again, if you want to ask something on your own and go a little rogue, that's okay. The only thing the subject that I ask you to stay away from is the children. I'll explain that before we leave the space as well. So we are going to kind of spread out a little bit. So I want to have Margaret go straight up into wherever she thinks she's capturing that crazy person up there. So just so she can debunk it for herself. Like, that's the whole point. But Mike, definitely get yours unmuted so that way the 2 of you can listen in together. And it just takes a few seconds for it to warm up from a cold start, just so you have that idea. But you're already getting things. Yeah, we're gonna basically
Ready?
kind of get numbers.
Yeah, all over the place. So I'm only supposed to tell you like it's like 9.6, and then it's like 1.4. So I'm only supposed to tell you the slowly going up.
Yeah, so right now we're at 9.6.
I don't see anything. Oh. Did you see that? Oh, that looked like a person.
What is that? What's that noise?
It said something. Did you hear that?
I can't make it out. Keep hearing music.
Look right there. That's her. Michael, right there. Right there, see it?
Yes, I do. Wow. Oh, move your right arm.
That's her.
Can you say you move your right arm? To show that that's you?
I don't know. Oh, there's somebody over there.
Where is the building that used to be here?
Is that what they're saying? Ooh, they say.
Did you guys figure out who that was?
I don't know.
Is this the area where it was actually coming from?
I keep hearing
Because I was thinking
music.
it was going to be like over there, was the way I
No.
was looking at it.
I keep hearing music. Like that
Remember,
music?
if it's music, because again, you're listening to FM and AM radio
Oh,
stations.
right.
So if it
Okay.
is music, tell me what the lyrics say.
Oh, I can't tell that. Yeah.
And again, but a lot of times, mainly with this spirit box, because the lyrics can be hard to hear, listen for any words that come through. They may even be DJs talking.
Okay. I haven't really heard
So, like,
words.
right there.
So let's get a point of reference, because this looks a little too high. Anything with leaves in it, like I said, you can debunk those, because it's all the leaves in front of it is going to make it look like a person. It's always going to try to make it look like a person, just so you know.
Okay.
So when I talked to the developer, I wanted to make sure I understood it wholeheartedly before I started throwing it at you guys. And I'm still learning about it, but what I've noticed is anything with leaves, you can almost throw those away immediately.
Yeah, that's like.
So when you have a figure over here, I'm almost going to want to try to get in the frame, so at least you have a point of reference for height, because again, ghosts aren't going to be 150 feet tall. You have me in the frame right now.
Right, yeah.
So again, depending on wherever that thing shoots up again, hopefully you have something like something relative to my height. Did it pop up again? Or
No.
around a little bit, just so you have me in the frame, and you can kind of have a point of reference of what you should be looking for when it does pop up again. I should also warn you, it will pick up shadows, and shadows in absence of light, so therefore it looks like it's in front of something else. So if you see somebody laying on the ground, it's more than likely your own shadow.
Okay.
But what you did find earlier, I'm still going to take a screenshot of it and at least take a look at it. If I don't feel like it's anything there, then you won't have the screenshot that I took. Like, I just move on.
Okay.
But when I do find something, those are the screenshots that you guys get back. Otherwise, you guys would probably have 40 to 50 screenshots, like, from every, like, in hopes that you have something. I only give you what I find it might be paranormal.
Mm. Yeah, it's not coming up now.
Walk it to the wall. You walk this way. Slowly. Go.
It's picking up the tree.
There. See that? What is that?
Tree.
That.
Yes, a tree.
Who's over there?
I don't know.
Is it or not? Are you there? No. It's not anything?
Oh.
Okay.
See, he said it picks up those mental things.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what that is?
Right here is where it was. See, it's picking up that light.
You're not hearing any lyrics, are you? Okay, it's not me.
Nope. I'm not picking anything up.
Yeah. Don't talk to me. Anybody here? Used to be a mansion here. What's up? Running around. Are we bothering you?
trees.
So you just keep walking around here. I keep walking around, or I have to walk around with you.
I'll walk around with you.
Anything coming out of your spirit box? Voice, we just can't make out what it says. Again, this is literally the hardest job. It is not easy at all. But I figured I'd give this one to the two of you so that way you guys can both kind of get the gist of how they work. But she's so laser focused on her screen.
Yeah.
Just so what to Eliza, do you want to tell us what happened to your mansion? Eliza? I've already known that you're here. I can see the numbers.
Alright, let it go.
Eliza, tell us what happened to the mansion, please. Let's get more verification that you're here. Margaret, anything else weird over there?
No.
That's the best part. I heard a car letting go. Here's the best part.
I tell you what, talk to me. We're the only ones who can heard. Margaret's here. Let's talk to Margaret.
Hi, Liza. Hi, Liza.
Did you hear the word what? You heard of it? What's that say? Can you tell us what happened to the mansion that was here? Do you know anything about the mansion? What? Elijah, what happened to the mansion? Can you tell us what happened to the mansion?
Best part. She
I heard you were around. Close by, your presence is near.
Very good. We have nothing else going on at the 25. Mike, nothing yet?
Nothing.
All right, I say we call this one. Margaret, go ahead and hit stop on your video.
There you go.
Kinda give you- Go to the top handle, and we're going to see if we can get any footage. When this tour leaves here, they're going to come up in between us. We're just going to kind of split the seas. We're all move towards one side and just let them keep going. And then I will stop talking and let them pass. And this is actually the space I'm taking out this year. So starting in November, this month, I start to come here less and less because every year I change this up. I add one new space and I take out one. This is the one I'm taking out because every ghost tour comes down here. So even if you have done another tour in Charleston, you've probably been here before. So even during the daytime. So this year, after I take this space out and I find the full connection of our next space, it is a murder mystery that has never been solved here in Charleston. So I figured, what fun would that be for you guys to actually help solve a murder mystery? So the more clues we gather and kind of things I can validate, like these might be things I collectively can turn into the police and say, I've been investigating this for a year by using paranormal equipment. This is what I found. So it could be something. Obviously, we're going to be testing the market with it tonight with a brand new device that I've only been using for about 3 or 4 days. So we're going to be hitting that space. I just like to let you guys know, like, if you come here and do this next year, we're not coming here. This will probably be taken out. So Dad's already told me, like, hey, this is different because I actually took out another alley to add in one of our other spaces we will be going to and investigating. So where are we now? This is called Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Every tour comes down here, we all tell the same story. I just give you different details because you're not on a campfire marshmallow ghost, right? So I'm going to giving you those details because you're ghost hunting. So Mike, I am going to have you go on mute just so I don't lose track, just so you know. Because again, I want to listen to that so bad because that's all I ever want to do, is listen to spirit boxes. So here's how the story goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. in the event Austin hears the song Brown Eyed Girl, it is not coincidence. We get it down here all the time because it's part of his name. So that's kind of how that goes. Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her cash. On his way into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It was like having a really bad Uber driver. But anyway, so as he's about to be robbed and killed, somebody was walking by and seen what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop there for just a second because none of these other tours tell you this, but Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. I use another device. It's kind of like a digital Ouija board, and it gives us letters based on EMF readings like Sarah's device. So I can't tell you how many times we've actually had the letters RI show up consecutively when I'm talking about Ralph. That's the reason why I have that device. I bought it for this location because I was getting RI all the time, weirdly, on a spirit box, like through radio channels. I'm like, why am I getting these letters? So that's why I bought the Ouija board device, as I call it. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. That means the two gents became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after his fiancée Amanda's cash flow. She gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can be married, and Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. What I'm going to tell you is that every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. Back to Ralph and Dr. Ladd. They go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. That's how that goes. One night after seeing Richard III from Shakespeare, they're arguing over an actress on their way home that they saw in the play. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting Dr. Ladd's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It gets pretty ugly. They go their separate ways. Told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, tells them to place an ad telling them, the whole city of Charleston, what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of stuff. Doc saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all. So, Doc saw the ad, let's go down, and they're going to take their 10 paces away from each other. And Doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot his one bullet. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So Doc doesn't die, he falls to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. Now, that was just 3 days ago, the anniversary of his death. We have been getting a lot of weird, uncanny things over the past few investigations. I'll point a few of them out. But I will tell you that every ghost tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. You don't have to do that. We have a camera recording audio right now plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get whistles, it's going to show up on either mine or Margaret's device. That's kind of how that goes. Not to say that we haven't gotten the words, we just got pegged in the chest with a leaf. We haven't gotten a whistling part of the song and then the word doctor immediately after from a commercial. Kind of like you just told us to get florist lessons, how it was two different voices. We get it all the time. So I've had it dozens of times, just so you kind of have an idea. But other things that we've gotten are the number 59 because it's relevant to the doctor's address of where he lived, and it's a very prominent home here in Charleston. Like, it actually has a name. I'm not going to tell you what that name is because that name will show up on spirit boxes from time to time. The name Amanda, obviously, fiance, 86, which is obviously the year that the doctor passed away. So we get all kinds of clues relative to the doctor while we're here, also when we're going to be across the street. I will tell you that if you're going to try this on your own and use your own voice recorders as you guys walk through the alley, I can't take you all the way through the alley. I've actually been kind of kicked out of here. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And you're like, holy crap, who is this guy? And you're looking at me like kind of scared. You'll see why here in just a minute. It's nothing super horrible. But anyway, turn on your voice recorders as you walk through here and listen for those whistles in the background. Just keep in mind, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland, the street we came in on, or Queen Street, throws a whistle down the alley. I used to do it every single night. My office is up here, my old garage is down here. So I used to pass by the alley every morning between 2 and 3 o'clock and throw a whistle down. So again, everybody does it. So let's talk about how we got booted out of here. Right? That sounds like a good time. This will also show you a little bit how I go about this research. The alley that you're standing in didn't always come all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall up there about halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is exactly why I stopped right here. It kind of gives us a marker. But that's because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. This used to be called Cow Alley. So what does that mean for you guys? That means that the bricks down at the other side are older than the bricks you're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child at the end of this, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through here before I knew really what I was doing out here to show off that handprint, not for anything paranormal. Remember, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. It wasn't anything to do with the paranormal. It was just to show how far we've come from slavery. However, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 people is hovered around that brick waiting for something to happen with their devices that I handed out. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know A, nothing's going to happen, and it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. However, the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical because her dad's getting yelled at and she was on the tour that night, so she thought it was funny. Now, we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I work for the largest retailer in the world, and you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving, so I don't work on Thanksgiving anymore. So the next day was the 28th. The dates are relevant. We're going to get to it. Now, I called my partner that I had at the time that brought me into tourism. I told him what happened, and he laughed at me too. He's like, dude, you're not allowed to go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, it's considered residential, and we're not allowed down there that time of night. So I said, okay, fine. He's like, what do I do? He's like, reroute your group. So I decided I'm going to reroute and go around the corner, but what I told my team that night was, I don't believe in the next story. I've never had anything happen with my gear over there, and I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So before we left the space, somebody had the name Anne on a spirit box. I told them who we were going to be investigating. So
You got a black box, don't you? Are you getting? Is that a black box?
no, it's a this one is an SLS camera. We have 2 spirit boxes running and an EMF detector.
Very cool, guys. Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm impressed. Bye. Bye.
So again, the name Anne was heard. I didn't tell them who. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I was kind of like, all right, maybe we are going to get something. We go up and around the corner, and I told them what little bit I did know about piracy. It wasn't much at the time, because remember, I didn't have much time to research anything. Somebody else with a spirit box, here's the number 300. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down. I did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. Exactly 300th year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I normally get the, wow, that's really cool. I was pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing, especially when I'm doing this, and writing fiction. I like facts and data to be able to base things off of. However, pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the fact that these alleged happenings actually occurred. So, with that said, I have read more books on pirates than I've ever wanted to in my entire life, just so you have that idea. Just to make sure our little 15 minutes of fame at the next location is going to be a legitimate find when you guys do get things. So keep in mind, you will get some bleed over from this location. So by the way, the black box that she was actually asking about, we do not use a black box. So again, she was a little over the top with that, just so you have that idea. That is more like almost like a divot box, which is almost like a cursed item. So the fact that she called it something, I'm like, hang on, you are a tour guide, you should know these things. So again, this is why you guys are part of the weirdo group tonight. So again, I normally say, like, if you're not sure where the weirdos are, look around, you're them. But again, I mean, I know she's dressed up and she looks like she's a good time, but the fact that everybody can know what that is if you're into paranormal stuff. Any numbers coming out of yours, Sarah?
No.
Nothing.
So wait, did I miss it? What was the murder mystery?
I haven't told you yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet. That's going to be later on. We're going to that later on. So no numbers coming out of yours. Did you hear anything? Did you turn it all the way down?
I tried to put it in.
Okay, so definitely get yours unmuted along the way to our next space. We're going to talk about rated R pirates. Margaret, if you want to stop your recording, it's up to you, but we're just going up and around the corner. We're going to stay
Help those kids.
help those kids.
You should help those kids.
I should. Maybe I should help those kids. If they know what the hell they're talking about, apparently. So, but yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit more volume. Maybe we can get you a little bit of a testimony come out of this, because I'd like for you to really hear something come out of this guy tonight. I know. Tone down. Yeah.
What? Clean up pretty clear.
It did. But to me, I hate to say, like, almost, it's really vague. Like, I like those specific concrete clues.
I'm just saying that came out.
It did, because we both heard it. All right, let's go learn about rated R pirates. Let's do this.
The doctor weighed you down.
Doctor weighs you down.
heard a man in Charleston, and then a man again. Keep hearing man, a man.
Baby.
A man in Charleston. I just heard it for the fourth time.
Baby.
Did you hear baby?
Are you hearing gossip? What are you listening to? Your mommy's calling.
And the word baby came up. So now this is one of those stories that goes a little awry. Let's kind of get into this. Sarah, just so you know, I actually get excited about a 2.5 in this location. So this story I don't always tell unless we actually have some extra things starting to pop up, which seems like we do. I don't know that the word mommy would have been used in the time frame, but it definitely goes along with the word baby that was heard earlier. So thank you for putting that on mute. Every ghost tour in town stops at the next, right here at the church across the street. The reason why is because they have something to show. It's usually their big finale. I don't always tell the story. We're going to tonight. You're going to see why. So right inside that cemetery, there's a sign that reads, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." The reason why is I don't want jerks like me trying to recreate what actually occurred over there. So here's how this goes. 1888, a young lady passed away by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. If you really paid attention to her initials, it's cheesy and campy, but we get it here all the time. Sue Howard Hardy. Now, Sue dies 6 days after her stillborn baby. Very sad story. However, 1987, a local photographer in town is putting a book together, trying to show off all of our cemeteries. He captured the full apparition in one of the photographs across the street. So what they find is that he can't figure out what's going on with this. He sends it over to Kodak. Kodak can't debunk the picture either. They can only confirm the camera that he said that he was using and that he had altered the picture, basically. So the picture is said to be cursed, and I don't always show it. So I'm going to show it. The only thing I'm going to ask, especially females, is don't touch my towel. They said that females that are handling it, even in a digital format, they said they have the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning, so headache, nausea, dizziness. Pregnant females are said to not have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. So kind of keep that in mind. I don't want somebody having a great honeymoon and then 9 months later I cursed your man. So I'm not going to be that guy. So I will tell you that for a guy that studies the paranormal as much as I do, again, this is definitely more than full time for me. If you type in like top 100 apparitions ever caught, this is normally in that top 100. So it is a pretty convincing piece. I'll kind of go 2 by 2 so you guys can see it. So here's a full picture, by the way. The apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave with the baby basket right here. See it now, Margaret? I've seen you kind of like peeking through. So full picture, apparition, woman wearing a shawl. You're looking at her back, and then the baby basket to her right. So if you zoom in even, mommy's calling, and he heard the word baby along the way here. So do I think like the word mommy would have been from in 1888? I can't say that for sure. But again,
They're using food box.
exactly. But the fact that he heard baby right away, I was already going to be telling you this recent history, just to see if something else was going to be popping up. But again, the date of when their deaths may occur have shown up. We've got the initials of CGH from being shipped on the radio. Again, that's why I point out those things. So again, I don't like to dwell on this piece. I just like to give you the fact that we have something else going on. We're not near that death date, just so you have that idea that took place in the month of June. But again, I'm not going to go into full detail. I do want to get into our pirate history, just so you can kind of see why we're here. Again, Sarah, once we do spread out, the closer you go that way, we have 2 electrical poles in the corners that will influence your device, along with parking meters on the other side. So this back half where we're at now is where I'm more excited about the 2.5 in height. We have had very weird anomalies show up with your device the past 2 minutes, like in consecutive. Like I was like, really? Because again, I don't expect more than like a 2.5 or 2.8. So that building is the gunpowder magazine. That's where we actually hold gunpowder for 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. So those are not crosses on that building, the big giant crosses on the little guy up there. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what those are, basically they're turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, you can tighten up the turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. You guys said you're from Cali, so I imagine you guys kind of already knew what that was, and normally you guys laugh at me because you guys already know that that shit doesn't work. So the only reason I bring them up is because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in, simply because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here simply because that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. That's why we're here. This is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch the TV shows, you've seen that Boo Buddy. That's the teddy bear with the little blinky light K2 meter inside of it. They use that to try to attract a child ghost, and if a ghost comes near it, child ghost, they would go off. Think of that concept as kind of the same mentality here. We don't have many buildings this old that Anne would recognize from her own time era. So kind of keep that in mind. The hope here is that this is a 50-50 roll of the dice, as if she will actually be here at the same time we are, because she is said to be seen all over town. So again, keep that in mind as we kind of go through this. Again, that's why I like to look for the bleed over from the alley at the same time, because if she's not here, we definitely had things from Dr. Ladd, and now we have shit going on from Sue Howard Hardy. So you kind of see my point. It's almost a curse to know where every little building or corner has a history of, so you're like, oh, why are they showing? That kind of thing. But anyway.
Anna's the fiance?
No. Anne is a whole new person. So Amanda was the fiance from back then. So you're right on the A's. So, but I'll give you that. That's why you guys keep me around to keep shit straight. So 1708 is when our history begins, which by the way, that building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government, small building? But right in the middle of that construction is where we start. Follow me, there's a couple of twists here. I will slow down on the twist to make sure you guys grab them, and then we'll get to the history. We'll spread out just like what we did at the Painting Mansion. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You with me so far? Okay. The three of them running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was she that she kicked their asses out of the country by boat? There's no planes yet. So normally this is where I warn the gents to be good to your ladies, because they will kick you all the way up to Canada. And we have planes, so it's going to be much easier. But anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So in case you're unfamiliar with our coast, Dad bought a plantation up there in Georgetown, and Mom dies pretty quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from that plantation in Georgetown to keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. So, back home in Ireland, they say Anne was a badass even back then. When she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is going to be exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times we've had like servant, knife, and belly all show up from 3 different devices, and the other 2 people have no idea what's going on. So it happens all the time. Fast forward, the building was finished in 1713, but pirates are starting to come through town in 1715. So a couple more years go by. Anne's going to fall in love with one of these pirates because she wants to earn her freedom, just like a man. That's the way the world worked back then. It was a man's world. So the first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful, we're going to cover them all. That's why the story is so damn good. And Margaret's like, yay, a happy love story. Yes, many lover story. So the first guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, but Dad did not approve because he's a filthy pirate. Kind of the same way you and Bonnie thought about me when I met him. Yeah. It's kind of a nice joke because he's here. But anyway. But at the same time, they ran away to Jamaica because Dad didn't approve. They got married, and Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the name came from, pirate name. However, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British and a coward. This is definitely not what she wanted. She falls in love again a few years later. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering. So, Calico Jack has his own ship. He has his own crew. You cannot put a female on a pirate crew, by the way, and Anne wants to be part of it. Does anybody know why you can't put a female on a pirate ship? I love how the wheels always spin and you try to keep it family friendly. That's why I asked that question. I like awkward answers. But no, it's bad luck. We're going to keep it nice and simple. So I do that on purpose every night, guys. Just so you know. Yeah, exactly. And especially when I got little kids on the tour, they're looking around like, I'm not answering. Like, but so he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But we also get it. She's a lady in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. They're going to get rid of Jack as captain. They'll vote him off because there's a democracy on every ship. So he drops her off in Cuba. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out, have the baby, come back later, and we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. None of my research has ever discovered it, just so you know. If you guys do ask that question, because you're going to be able to ask whatever the hell you want to here, and you get a direct answer, it's personal to you, I probably won't be able to prove it. So just keep that in mind. She comes back dressed as a female. This is going to make Jack pretty angry, because everybody's going to know that he let a girl on the ship. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. And now we have 2 females, just like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure. Remember, pirate lore. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks. Probably because they don't know how to use cannon judge. They haven't been pirates for very long. 2 ladies with 1 bullet guns are not going to fight very well against the whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up in communication devices all the time. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so violently on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. 2 ladies go in front of the judge. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. Still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they shouted, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging until after their pregnancies, but Dad is still up here in South Carolina. He still has all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't know. Well, sure. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't really know anything concrete about her after her pirate career. So I can spread rumors of all the books that I've read and things like that, but again, very vague stuff. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. So most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. Let's make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not? So I'm not going to assign questions here. You guys can ask whatever the hell you want to. Like I said, I'm just going to give you a few pointers of what I left out of the story on purpose, just so you have something to work with. The name of Anne Bonny's parents, father, the mistress. I did not tell you what those were. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, so that way you guys had something to work with. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. So the color of her hair is obviously red, so I'm going to just point out she is the cliche, red hair, green-eyed Irish woman. And I give that question out because if we're struggling with a spirit box, because I mean we did get 2 very solid words out of yours tonight, but that is an easy 1-syllable word to grab an answer out of, especially if she's struggling to give us answers. So I normally throw that question in there too, just for kind of shits and giggles, kind of mentality. So we are going to spread out in here. Other tours may kind of come through. Margaret, you get the point with filming. Some nice slow motions out of here. I'll do a couple of round robins with y'all and see what's going on. Did you hear anything, or you've been focused on me?
Listening to your captivating history.
My captivating history. Mike, let's get you unmuted. I need you to hear some shit out of that thing for sure. All right, 2.5s and higher. I am really excited about, just so you know. Wow, you guys are like laser focused.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, last night's group wasn't. So it was kind of like they were kind of scattered all over, like wanting to get to work before I even told them what to do yet. So it was kind of like, all right, go have a good time, I guess. So it was.
Have a good time. I don't know where you're listening.
I don't think that they knew what they signed up. One of those kind of things. So it was an odd night for me.
That bike, you run into that quite often.
0-0.
It's not often that I get folks that are not like that, and you're laser focused. You want to learn about the device in your hand, and you want something to happen. But I still get those every once in a while. Like they're not really sure what they signed up for. So
0-0 and 9-5.
Every once in a while I get that dragged husband that doesn't want to be here. But that happens quite often. But the history usually draws them right back in. So once they see like I'm not making stuff up, we're not talking about witches and vampires out here. You know what I mean? I'm giving you real history. That's usually what draws them back in, and then they're like, oh, I have a job to do, and you gave me history. Cool, let's do this. So, but yeah.
0095 and don't cry, baby. In a woman's voice. Keep the number. I also heard keep the number. 2%.
Getting really good at that. You want to try one like this, maybe? Do you want to try one like this? Kind of see how like. Yeah, I mean, we're hopefully going to get more out of this, but it's been pretty light. You've only had 2 turns that have shown up. It is, but again, if it's not giving us anything, that's why I bring the whole bag. I'm actually geared up for 12 people. So,
Whatever you think is worth.
well, let's give this one more spot and kind of see where we're at. Kind of, again, the next 2 spots, you guys are going to be involved in different groups. So this will really only be the last stop that you're going to be using that. I'm going to be giving you something else at the next location anyway. That ivy wall is not your friend, Margaret.
It's not my friend.
Yeah.
So where should I walk?
Well, you can point it at anywhere you want to. It's just if something shows up on the ivy wall, unless you get a reaction, like raise your right hand, because normally the thing is covered in leaves is going to give us a bunch of army men all the way down there.
Oh, you did say that. Okay. I heard that. I heard that.
should have heard at least, I would say, 5 to 8 tones already. So far, you've heard 3.
Yeah.
So, again, it's not anything you're doing wrong. It's a matter of the spaces and how active they are. That's why I love doing this, is because it's so unpredictable. What was that one?
You like?
Got something and it's pink with the pebble.
Are you bored because you're
No.
not getting eventful thought?
She's like, oh, I got plenty.
Yeah. Oh, that was
Yeah, but I understand. Body all right. Doesn't...
something already.
Yeah, I heard already. That's all I heard of this.
For money. For money again.
Heard already.
318.
So close. 318 is Ann's birthday was March 8th. So 308. I guess it could also be one March, 9 in March, where I would say they were much bigger.
What was that?
Hello. Here with me. Martha's Vineyard.
Getting shadows on there, Margaret? Picking up our shadows? Look at that.
I don't know, something. Yeah, it's him. Oh, there she is.
Oh, she's really close to the parking meter. That's gonna be from the parking meter. Yep. I'm sorry, you're picking up something where?
The,
Is it like as tall as the building? Yeah.
Yeah, that's-
So,
okay.
yep. See it all the time. Everybody wants to think a ghost is 50
Yeah.
foot tall. Nothing else on coming out of there? We should probably call it on this one. It's pretty late. All right, let's head over towards this wall.
Well, you
Come
got
on over
everybody-
your name tonight, so we would like a little bit more
I'm
clearance.
trying to.
Can you tell us the
I didn't mean to hurt you.
What was your occupation, Henry? Can you tell us something about your occupation? I want to start things off nice and light.
If there's one of us,
Oh, good. Normally I ask if there's multiple of you, so thank you for clarifying that. I will normally ask how many people are here with you.
a woman screaming.
Henry, can you tell us something about your occupation? Let's get some more validation that you're here.
USS.
Henry,
The primary mortgage.
Henry would like to know something about your occupation. You can tell us what you did, something specific about what you did, what your topics were. I know, there's people walking by, you don't normally like the noise and corruption.
Having close range. Stop
We're not stopping, Henry, so I'm going to need you,
every day.
Henry. You know
Weakness.
We're only going to keep you here for about 10 minutes.
Oh no.
So if you can help us out for that 10 minutes by giving us some validation, we will leave you alone. Is that fair? It's a yes/no question.
French. I'm hearing French. For years. Boarding in North America. The Last of Us.
Henry, can you tell us what war you served
Hold
in?
me.
What war did you serve in? Henry,
Help me.
Henry,
Save me.
you gave us the name of your wife earlier. Do you want to give us any other family members' names?
Gold beans?
No names at all?
The storm.
Clear every so often, but no.
Henry, can you tell us what sound we just heard coming out of St. Michael's Church?
Come here.
We're already here. We're not going to move from the spot because these folks can't see where they're going.
104. A clear signal.
I did ask what came out of the church. Did I not clear signal? We have gotten the word bells with this several times. That's the reason why I usually default to the question.
Never occurred.
Yes, it did. Several times. Henry,
The fun that you had.
who is your son named after?
Writer. Scientist. I feel like I should go to bed early.
Are you feeling sick, Henry?
Find something.
I'm trying to. You're not
The
getting
best. Don't ordinary do it.
Henry. I've asked you a lot of questions so far. This is Austin. He's pretty good at this.
I'm hearing creepy things.
Do you want me to look all around or just stay straight?
And there's only been like 3 occasions since I started doing this where there were no angels.
Okay.
And normally we'll have like 1 to 10, average being 4.
Made.
Henry, let's get into right into your death. Can you tell us what you died from, please?
Please stop.
Are you annoyed with the fact that we're still here?
Come back to him. Nearby.
Henry, are you annoyed
With my.
Are you annoyed that we're here?
Coming short. Unprepared.
Henry, would it be okay if
Time.
I read a stanza of your poetry?
Timeless. Next week.
I know that I'm here night after night. I don't always pay that tribute.
I knew them well.
Sometimes if I read your poetry, you're a little nicer to us. Because we are down to about, we've been under about 7 minutes, just so you guys know. We're down to the last few minutes. Anyway, let's read one quick stanza of your poetry, and maybe you'll be nicer to us. We know not
The
in the
kids.
temple of the fates, God has inscribed her doom, and all in
Kids
trouble.
say goodbye.
In her faith she waits, the triumph or the tomb. Did you just say the kids say goodbye?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want me?
You are very interesting to me.
2.6.
How much?
2.6.
It's not an area of comfort.
2.8.
2.6.
Sometimes it's called a hush. Hush.
Henry, you are very interesting to me because I am also a writer.
Fiber. Fire. Your answer.
Can Can you tell us what
things to worship. Your
What did you
answer.
write about, Henry? Let's go straight into that. We're down to about a minute or two. Let's make it count. Tell us what you wrote about. We're looking for
Put it here.
We're looking for that validation that you're here. Tell us what you
Your
wrote
first
about.
step.
He's almost too good at this.
On the table. Your first step on the table. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. You have a pretty prestigious title.
But within the first path,
Pretty well known
choose.
around Charleston.
everything.
We all respect the work that you did. I understand that you died a poor writer, but what you did was important. You need to understand that. These sessions
A
like
rock
this,
of information, hand of God.
I go through these little sessions like this, Henry. This is how I learn about you. What better way for me to learn about you than from you?
Blue
yourself?
child.
Blue child. Can you tell us the name of your child?
People seeing her
It's a boy.
offensive.
Okay, I'll move on. He's done that to me before. Like that's
The Kelter Festival, peering in the lamp. Kelter?
he actually, I think the one that I asked about him, he said that's inappropriate.
Series of events.
Wow.
Okay, Henry, I'll show some respect. Would you like us to leave? We didn't get any images tonight.
You have no clues.
You didn't really give us much. Henry, going once, going twice.
I don't know. I lost some sense.
Okay, Henry, I'm gonna say goodnight. Can you say goodnight back to us?
All over love. Motor.
Henry, going once, going twice. Alright, sir, go ahead and peel that thing off your face. Unfortunately, we had no images whatsoever. Holy
No,
cow.
I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It would
I'm
clear,
just gonna
it
double
would
check.
clear for a second, but nothing like formed, and then it would just get foggy again.
So, yeah, don't get up. Take. I don't like baby giraffes falling on the ground. Yeah, no images whatsoever. So this would be like the 4th or 5th time that that's ever occurred.
Okay. Are they like super crisp when you see them?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Just to kind of give you an idea, like let me just bring up the files of previous. And there's a button next to your volume, so click the button in the opposite direction so it actually stops the recording, so we know that the last 10, 11 minutes are from this session.
Turn it on.
Yeah, we want to turn it on. So it gets to images and kind of give you guys an idea. No, nothing showed up whatsoever. Nothing.
Was the electricity on there? Or the
Did for a second.
We did get some readings out of that. And
2.6 and 2.8.
so again, we're gonna take that as a quick signal. Just these are last night's images. So last night they had like a woman, and you can stop your video too, Margaret.